You are my strength, strength like no other, strength like no other. Reaches to me. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. We thank God for His strength. It's been 10 episodes already. And we give God all the praise for how far He has brought us. I hope you've been learning, you've taken down some points, and you've been able to apply them to your marriage. If you are a single person, I hope it's helping you to be able to prepare towards your marriage. So God bless you all for tuning in once again. Today, our main focus is going to be on the work in marriage, and then we'll look at roles, some of the typical things that you'll be doing on a daily basis in your marriage. Okay, there was a time that I was asking a married person, what is marriage, how is marriage, and he said that marriage is doing the same things over and over again. Okay, and I kind of get what he's trying to say. Okay, so today we are going to look at some of those things that you will be doing in your marriage. It may not be too different from what you're already doing in your home as a single person, just that there is another dimension to it. And of course, having another person sleeping in the same bed with you makes a whole lot of difference in your life, and we're going to deal with them. Okay, God bless you. I'm going to pause this music and then okay, so if you are here, please say hello. I want to know the people watching. Okay, it's nice to be able to know whether you are single or married. How long have you been following this program? What have you learned so far? Okay, it's good to know. Yeah, what I'll do is when we get to the end of the session, the episodes, I will have one day that I will just sit here and then you ask me questions and then I'll answer. Okay, so if you've got any questions, please feel free to post them or send them to me in the messenger, okay, so that I can work on them. So marriage, the work in marriage. You know, when I was trying to prepare for this message, my husband was sitting by me. He was also preparing for his broadcast. And then I was trying to disturb him. I said, what makes marriage hard work? So I asked him, is marriage hard work? You know, because I hear people saying marriage is hard work. You know, so I was asking him, is marriage hard work? And if it's hard work, what makes it hard work? And then he was like, well, it depends on your definition for hard work. Okay. And so he said, check on the dictionary and you'll be able to answer your question. And I said, okay. So I looked at the dictionary and the definition for hard work. And it says that hard work is a great deal of effort or endurance. A great deal of effort or endurance. And so I said, okay, I kind of understand what is effort. What about endurance? It says endurance is the ability to endure unpleasant or difficult process or situation without giving way. In other words, without giving up. Okay, so your ability to be able to go through difficult situations, unpleasant situations without giving up. Okay, that is endurance. And the question is marriage hard work? Based on this definition, I would say yes, it is hard work. And the depth of the hard work would depend on, again, your maturity and your preparation towards the marriage. Okay, if you've been following my broadcasts before I got married, I kept saying one thing, that one of the most important assets that you can give to yourself as a single person is preparation, equipping yourself, not just towards marriage, but towards life as a whole. And I mentioned that there are certain things that you can't prepare for. Okay, even when you're preparing towards marriage, you can't prepare for the death of a spouse. Okay, you can't prepare for a spouse being ill or something terrible happening. Those are the things that they are beyond your control, because you don't expect them to happen, but they may happen. Okay, so when I look at the definition for hard work, there are two words that are very key: effort and endurance. There are certain things that in marriage you've got to consciously put in effort to make it work. And then there are certain things you've got to endure to make it work. Okay, so I've put these categories together. Some of the areas that you would have to endure, and then some areas that you have to put in more effort. Okay, yeah, hopefully that should make it easy to understand. So I put here that marriage requires a lot of conscious effort and a willing spirit, which is not ready to give up in order to make it work. So you've got to be willing that you are not going to run out of the marriage immediately there is an issue. Okay, and if you followed the previous episodes, I mentioned some of the compromises that we have done in our marriage, the discoveries that we started noticing about each other, some of the things that I never knew that my husband doesn't like doing them, or the way he thinks, the way he does things, I never knew. I thought I knew him before the marriage, and then it's like a different war game. And the same thing, there's certain things that he's beginning to discover about me. But again, all those discoveries, it's because of the closeness you guys have at the moment. And the discoveries is meant to help you guys blend in very well, so that, like the Bible said, the two becoming one flesh, becoming one. So the whole purpose of marriage is unity. And it doesn't matter the differences between the two of you. It's all to work together so that the two of you will become one. Okay, so your differences, no matter how terrible or no matter the discoveries you are making about each other, it shouldn't tear you apart. Okay, it's meant to bring you together. And when you have a positive mindset about knowing that I chose this man, I chose this woman by the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, by the counsel of God, I knew that, okay, this person is right for me. This person is right for me. And then I decided to go for the person. So now that we are in the marriage, whatever happens, together we are going to work as a team to make it work. Okay. So when you have that mindset that you are in this forever, you're not coming out until death, then it doesn't matter the challenges that come your way. You'll be able to endure. And then also based on that mindset you have, you are able to put in effort. So everything depends, the way you behave, your attitude in the marriage, your behavior towards things, it's all determined by your expectations for that marriage and what kind of marriage you want, where you are going. Okay. If your expectation is that within 2 years or within 1 year, if he messes up, if she messes up, you are leaving, then of course, your attitude, your behavior, you will not even be able to put in any effort. You will just say, well, it's your life. Whatever you want to do, do. But it shouldn't be that way. Okay. And I also mentioned that in this, our generation, it looks like we want everything quick. It's like a microwave generation. We want instant this, instant that. And we are not willing, most people are not willing to put in effort into their marriage to make it work. Most of us have this mindset that marriage is very, very, very hard. It's very, very difficult. Marriage doesn't work. There's no good marriage out there. And we just have that mindset, which is not really helping, But the reason is because we are around the wrong people. We've been hearing negativity. Okay, all that we are hearing is negativity. It's just like singleness. If you're around the wrong people who are always talking down on singleness, you're going to feel very terrible in your singleness. You're going to feel very depressed because you think that singleness is very bad. But immediately you are around the right people who are speaking positively about singleness, who are doing things in their singleness. They are still building houses. They are becoming the best. They are doing this, they are doing that, and their life is fruitful. It will encourage you to have a positive mindset about singleness. So your environment is very important. The people you are hanging around with is very important. The things you are hearing is very important. What kind of people are you listening to? Okay. What kind of people are you listening to? Are you listening to people who are very negative? There are some people, they've had very negative experiences to do with singleness, to do with marriage. And so all that they have to tell you is negativity. They're only going to share their pain with you. And they are not even telling you how that pain came about. Okay, there are some people, they had a terrible marriage. Maybe it could even be that before they got married, they were warned. Somebody told them, this man you are going to marry, this lady you are going to marry, she's not the right person. No, she's like this, she's like that. And still you said you go, and you went, and then it crashed. Now, when they are telling you about that experience, they will not tell you about the fact that they were advised and they did not listen. They are only going to tell you the negative sides. Okay, so because of that, you too, you'll be walking around thinking, hey, this thing is so bad, oh, this thing is so bad. Until you come around people who are very positive, then your whole mindset will change. And I'm here to let you know that it is not every marriage that is terrible. There are some people who are really, really, really enjoying their marriage. I started a project recently, and I've met some amazing people. Amazing people. I've never actually been around people who are so positive, especially white people. Normally, we are around our black friends and all that. And I met these people, these ladies. One of them, actually 3 of them have been married for over 25 years. So I was very, very interested to know, how are you doing it? And they started telling me they met themselves when they were very young. Very young. Some of them, they've known each other since the age of 18. And they were friends. And then through that, they got married. And, the way they speak about their marriage, there's one, they're all different people. They don't, I've not had a conversation with all of them at once. It's just on different occasions. And they keep telling me, what? I don't think I would like to live any day without my husband. And they would give you reasons. I met a young girl as well. She's also married. She's just 25 years. She's going to be 26. And we're just talking, and she said, she's been married for 5 years. Is it 4 years? I think 4 years or 5 years. And I said, really? How old are you? She told me her age, and she said that, when they met themselves, they were like very young. They were in the university, and the parents said, no, they have to finish university. So if not, they would have even been married long time. And she started talking about values. Values. The fact that the two of you have to have the same values, believing in having the same moral values. Things that are wrong, both of you believe are wrong. Not that this person thinks, it is not good to cheat. The other person is thinking it's fine to cheat. You can have a wife and have a garden. You can have a farm and have a garden. Those things are going to cause you problems. So she was just on about, having the same interests, the same values. And she said the same thing. I will not live my life. I don't think I will live my life without my husband. And she was so positive. This is a young girl. And I was like, wow, the world needs to hear people like you, because we have so many people who are so bitter about life. They are bitter about everything. And if you are listening to those people, that is how you're going to be thinking. Okay. So let's not think that, every marriage is hell. There are people who are having heaven on earth marriages, and you can have the same. You can have the same. Okay, I didn't even plan to say this, but somehow it came. Yeah. So we should not be too quick to look for results. It's like we want the result, but we don't want to put in the hard work. You are currently single. We've been saying equip yourself. Read books. People will tell you, books is somebody's experience. I'm telling you by experience. I'm a typical example to you that books helps. Some of the things we know, me and my husband knows, is through books. Okay, some of the things that we know is through messages on marriage that we've listened to on YouTube. So when situations come, we remember what we read. We remember what somebody said. So, oh, this is how they did it. This is how they did that. And then we straighten up. Okay, so don't let anybody deceive you by saying, marriage is your own journey. You learn on the journey. And so, all these books, some of them lie. It is not true. Okay, people put in their experience in the books so that you will not repeat the mistakes they have done. Okay, some people just want the world to be better. So they don't care how far they will go to be as genuine and real as possible so that you learn something from it. And they put these things in books. There are free messages on YouTube. If you are not putting in the effort, and then you wait, you are 35, you get married and you have no clue, things are going to be difficult. So we need to put in the effort. The effort that you can put in now as a single person is equipping yourself, developing yourself, getting the knowledge, okay, making use of the opportunities you have at home. If your mother is asking you, do this at home, clean the house, cook, do it. Don't look at your younger siblings and say, well, this Amma is there. Why is Amma not doing it? Meanwhile, you are the one who is almost of age for marriage. And then you don't know how to cook. You get married and you can't cook. And then issues start coming up. So we need to start putting in effort. Okay, because there is nothing good. There is nothing great that you will receive on earth without putting in effort, without enduring to the end. Because some of us too, we give up so quickly, we give up too easily. I have people come on orientation, SWAL orientation, and we have a lot of people, like 30 people join. They just want to play. They come, whatever you put there, they are not reading. It's time to take the test, and you see them leaving. People start exiting because all that they thought was they are coming to play. So they're on the group. They are not putting in any effort to learn anything. They are not reading through the messages. The link, we are telling them, go on this link, prepare yourself for the test. They think it's a joke. So when the test now come and they realize that they've not done anything, they start exiting. We've just finished orientation. 3 people passed out of 30 something. 3. Not willing to put in effort, but they want to join. Somebody was saying, the last orientation, somebody said, why are we doing a test when we just want to come and learn? And I said, really? When you go to a school, when you apply for a school, they want to see your grades. They want to see the reason why they should take you in their university. They just don't say, oh, because you want to learn, come and join us. Come to a first level because you are willing to learn. No. They want to see your effort, your determination, your focus. They look at your grades. What did you achieve in your secondary school? Did you get A's? There are schools, even some of the schools, they want only A students. Some want B's, some C's. And for you to go to an A school, you've got to get A and even A plus. So you can't tell them that because you want to learn, they shouldn't examine you. You can just come in and learn. That is the mentality some of us have. We want the result. We want to enjoy life, but we don't want to put in the effort. Okay? So effort is very important, in marriage. You've got to put in the effort to be able to have the best marriage that you want to have. Okay? So your whole mindset needs to change. You've got to give up. In order for you to give up any bad attitude, any wrong attitude, it takes effort. It takes effort to be able to do that. Yeah. And in most cases, people who put in effort and people who do not give up easily are those who wins. Sometimes you listen to the stories of these billionaires, those who have done great things, and they tell you how things were tough. Life was difficult. Some people, they even have to walk. They walk for long hours to go to where they want to go. And yet, they did not give up. People were telling them, oh, you can't do it. Oh, who are you? You won't go far. And yet, they pushed through. They did not give up. And they made it. Now they are history that we read. We go and search for them and we listen to them. Why? Because they put in effort. They did not give up. So these two things, it's what hard work means: effort and endurance, not giving up. Okay, so in our marriage, these two things will be very key. And I've put here that, some people discover at the early stages of their marriage, they discover things that are mentally and emotionally draining. It drains them to the extent that physically they begin to wear out. You literally can see that physically they are drained, because your mind controls how you feel. Okay, your emotions. So the way you think, it controls the way you begin to feel and the way you behave. Okay, so when people discover things that they never thought would happen, they start to lose it. Okay, and I have put examples here that, there are certain things that we have very little control over, which can be draining but requires endurance. Okay, and things like a spouse becoming ill. Yeah, maybe the person suddenly falls ill and there is nothing they can do. You have to do everything for them. That is endurance. You've got to really endure and decide that you're not going to give up. Because if you decide that you're going to give up, it means that you're going to run away and leave the person. Yeah, so that is hard work. Hard work. People have children who are sick right from the womb. They give birth to the child is disabled, or the child is having sick illnesses here and there. And these are things you don't plan for. I went for a program recently, and there was the prophet. There was a prophet who said that there's somebody here who has been told that they have just 2 more weeks to live. So I was even thinking it's an older person. And then I saw a mother and a child of like 6 months, like 6 years old child, 6 years or 7 years, brought the child forward and said, doctors have said the child has only 2 weeks to live. I felt like crying. I thought, a child. This morning my husband and I were watching the same broadcast, the program, because it was recorded. So we're watching it, and I was saying to my husband, how does a mom sit the child down and tell her, you've got only 2 weeks to live? How is it? So I was saying, does this child actually understand what it means that you've only got 2? How do you say that? And these are some of the challenges that people face in their marriages that requires endurance. It requires endurance, your ability not to give up, not to run away. Some people, they have a child and the child is disabled and the man runs away. The man runs away because he's not ready to. He said, especially, excuse me to say, those of us from Africa, some of us have very weird mindset. There are some tribes, when you have a child who is disabled, they say that the gods, you've offended the gods, or you've done something. That is why the child is disabled. So the man will run away and leave you because they think you are a witch. So people are experiencing all of these things in their marriages, which requires a lot of hard work, a lot of endurance for them to be able to stand. People get so depressed. I've got a friend who, a colleague from work, the child, if you look at the baby, he's just 1 year. You wouldn't think that the baby has any issue, but he's actually got kidney problems. And the mother has to be going up and down hospital. She said for the first 2 months, they were in the hospital. You're expecting a baby, the baby just come and you are in the hospital for 2 months, going up and down. And sometimes she feels like it's depressing her. So people, have all these things going on in their marriages. People gain weight when they get married, or even after they have children, and they lose their confidence. This is something that most people don't know. There are a lot of women who lose their confidence after having children, because you see yourself, maybe when you were single or before you had a child, you were looking very slim and your figure, everything is hourglass shape, and all of a sudden you put on so much weight and you're looking at yourself, it's like, oh my God, is this me? And you don't love yourself. And these things happen. And unfortunately, if such a woman doesn't have a man who is very supportive, who understands, who will encourage her, and who will even end up, there's some men, they will even insult you. They'll tell you, look at your shape, look at you, and now you are shapeless. They make the whole thing worse for you. So our men, you need to understand, if you are single, you need to understand these things, okay, so that you prepare your mind, okay. If your child has, your wife has just had a baby, you've got to put in hard work, and the hard work is you put in effort to help her, effort to appreciate her, effort to compliment her. It doesn't matter whether she's still in shape, she's not in shape. You've got to compliment her. And if you've got a challenge, an illness challenge, you've got to stand by each other. You can't run away from the person. Because remember your vows. You know, they say for better, for worse. If the person is sick, it's part of the deal that you've got to stand by. Okay, so if you know you don't love the person, as a single person, if you're about to get married, or you are thinking of going into a relationship, if you don't sincerely love the person, you can't endure. You can't put in effort because you don't love them. So the least thing, you run away. So make sure that the person you're about to marry, you really, really, really love the person, and that person is God's leading for you. People have financial difficulties. People have barrenness issues. There are some people, they have a lot of miscarriages. Some have unemployment issues. Okay, there are sexual issues. There was a message I was listening to whereby the pastor, he trains ministers, he trains pastors only. That's his ministry, and he talked about sex. So he was saying that as a minister, don't assume that your members are having sex, especially your married members. Don't assume that they are having sex, because there are some people, they may have never had sex even when they got married. Maybe they have sex once a year or once every 3 months. So don't assume that they have sex, because people have issues. There are some people, they may have erectile issues. Some people don't have the desire for sex and all of that. So they come to church, they are praying, they are looking happy, and you think everything is fine. They may not be, So he was saying that always ask your members, when was the last time they had sex? So one of the things that I did was on the Amewowor WhatsApp group, I'll ask, when was the last time you had sex? And people were very honest, They will say, oh, I had sex yesterday. Somebody said they had six rounds. And I said, that's not true. How can you have 6 rounds of sex? When you are very newly married like me, that's the question you ask. I said, how can you do 6 rounds did you take a break for 1 hour and continue, or how did you do it? And she said, what do you mean? Are you me? And I said, well, okay, I rest my case. That's you. You can do it. We thank God. So don't assume, because people have these issues there that they will not talk about, but it's going on. Yeah. So these are some of the hard work somebody has to endure. Because if you are the woman, and maybe your husband has erectile issue, or he's impotent or whatever, you're gonna have to endure, because you can't say that you're going to leave. And yeah, we pray that such things will not happen to us in Jesus' name. And then there is character flaws. Okay, there are some people who, they can't just look at somebody in skirt and walk away. They have to look at the person. They have to take the person's number. They have to start a conversation with the person. They have to jump into bed with the person, even though they are married. That is just them. Okay, such things, if that person is your wife, that person is your husband, it's going to cause issues. So it's hard work, because emotionally, when you get to know about these things, it's going to drain you. That, wow, my husband is cheating, my wife is cheating. And some of the people who are cheating are people who are even, their wives or husbands are doing so much for them. So when a person gets to know, wow, upon all I'm doing for you, you still do this, it drains them. So mentally, it is work. Emotionally, it is work. Okay. And then we have mindset issues. And I put here lack of understanding of marriage. Lacking understanding of marriage. Some people, they don't know how to marry. They don't know how to do it. They are still living the way they were when they were single. They still want to do things like a single person, yet they are married. This is my money. This is my food. This is my bed. These things are for me. This is for you. So everybody do your own thing, but we are living in the same house. That is not marriage. That is not marriage. I've said it so many times. The purpose of marriage is unity. So where there is no unity and everybody is doing their own thing, running your business here, he's running his business. You don't know what he's doing. You don't know what she's doing. Everybody's just doing their own thing. That is not marriage. Okay, because you are not becoming one, as the Bible is saying that we should. Yeah. Yeah. So that lack of understanding of marriage, there was a message I was listening to. The speaker opened the floor for people to ask questions, and a wife stood up. She said, Pastor, what do you think? My husband says to me that he's not responsible for me. I'm not his responsibility. And the pastor said, well, your husband is an immature man. It's an immature husband. How can a husband say that a wife is not his responsibility? So that is a lack of understanding there. And if you have a wife who doesn't think you are his responsibility, your husband doesn't think you are his responsibility, they think the only responsibility they have is their children and that's it, then of course it's going to cause a lot of hard work in your mind, because you're going to be stressed out, you're going to be thinking. It means that even, excuse me to say, if you are not working and they are working, they will even give you money. You won't even have food to eat because they are not responsible for you. So whether you are sick, whether you are happy, you are sad, they don't care because they don't think that they are responsible for you. Okay, so that's mindset problems, mindset issues, wrong mindset. It affects a lot of things and it makes people to work themselves. Okay, so those are some of the hard work, the work in marriage. And then people putting their friends first, they're putting their families first. Until I hear from my mom, I'm not making a decision. Until I hear from my dad, I'm not making a decision. That is a wrong mindset, and it is not a way to marry. Okay, you cannot be married and the final say, your final authority is your mother or your father or your friend. If that's the case, then why are you marrying? Go and marry your mother, or go and marry your father, go and marry your friend. Okay, so those things is hard work. If there's those issues and the marriage, that is going to be hard work. And then in-law issues and interference, those are some of the hard work. One thing that ladies, we do is when we're about to marry, because we want the husband's family to accept us. It could even be the other way around. Maybe you want your wife's family to accept you, so you pretend, even things you can't do, you are forcing yourself to do because you want them to accept you. And by the time you realize, you have put yourself in a position whereby whatever they say, go. They call you, they want to know what's going on in your marriage. They tell you what to do, what not to do. And so much interference. These things also can cause hard work in the marriage, because it can create a disagreement, misunderstandings. There are some people, their marriage broke down because of their mother-in-law, because of their father-in-law, because of their sister-in-law. Yeah, many marriages are breaking down because of interference from in-laws. Okay, because the man thinks that his family is first, his family is better than the wife, or the woman thinks my family comes first, my family is my priority. After my family, it's you. So that mindset problem, or that wrong mindset, is going to now make you put in so much work, because you see people be crying. How can a mother-in-law will call a sister-in-law and a daughter-in-law and insult her over the phone and say you are stupid, you are this, you are that? That is emotional abuse, mental abuse. Is going to cause you so much pain, and it's work, because in some cases you can't even leave. You can't leave. You can't do anything. So you are in the marriage, and then you'll be stressed. You'll be stressed. There are some ladies, they are stressed because of their mother-in-law or their father-in-law or their sister-in-law. Yeah, you should not give anybody any opportunity to pick the phone and insult your wife or insult your husband. You shouldn't. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't allow it. Somebody wants your attention. Seriously, they want your attention, and your wife also wants your attention. And then you ignore your wife and go to that person. You are not wise. Your husband wants your attention. Your husband is in a serious situation. Your friend needs help. And then you leave your husband, you go and help your friend. Who did you make a covenant with? Your husband. So he is your first priority. Your wife is your first priority. Apart from God, they are your first before anything else. So the singles, let's get this right before we get into marriage, because there are so many, issues about in-laws, issues about my brother said this, my wife, and then you are fighting because of your sister. We need to learn right. We need to learn right, because it's getting too much. Yeah, it's getting too much. When you hear some of the stories, it's like, how did they even start in the first place? Okay, so be vigilant, be wise, guard your marriage, guard each other. Don't give anybody an inch, because when you give an inch, they take 3 inches. By the time you realize they've taken over you. Okay, and then there are also issues like body odor, hygiene issues. That includes body odor, bad breath, and all of that. Would you run away? So these are some of the things that are happening. Some people have very, very strong odor. And this is just, an advice to those who have children. Because sometimes, because the children, they wee on themselves. Or maybe you didn't use the Pampers. Or even if you use the Pampers, the urine still slipped into their clothing and all of that, and you wash it, but maybe you didn't put any conditioner, that scented liquid, you didn't put it there, put it on the clothing, so the clothing is still smelling of wee. Sometimes you carry these children and they are smelling. You could smell the urine, or even the mothers themselves, because of stress. Some people, they go through so much stress to the extent that they don't take care of themselves. So you come around a mother or a wife, and you could smell that they've got a strong odor or even breath. And these things happen. It can easily happen to anybody. Sometimes it depends on what you are wearing. I know myself, when I wear like a silk fabric, if I wear it for the whole day, I'll start to smell. I literally will smell myself. I'll begin to smell myself. And I know people like that. In my former church, one of my mothers, she would sometimes say to me, I can smell myself. And I'm like, I can't smell anything. She said, I know myself. So she would then go and change, because there are certain things that when you wear for too long, you begin to. So we need to be careful, be mindful of those things. Yeah. There was a lady who at that time she had 2 children. I think now she's got, is it 3? She's got 3 now. She had a perfume that she used for her children. So she would spray their clothing. And anytime, because the children smell so good, when I see them, I want to carry them. Because they smell so good. I'm like, this is nice. So get a perfume. And if your body odor is a very serious one, maybe you need to go to the hospital, go to the clinic, and let them look at it for you. If it's a breath issue and it's very strong, go and look at it, okay, because it could be a problem in your head. Yeah. But everybody has breath issue in the morning when you wake up. Yeah, everybody has some kind of breath issue. Just that the ones that you can actually say this is a problem is when it is very strong. Okay, so it's not like little you just smell something little, go to the hospital, you are smelling. No, okay. Everybody has got some level of odor or bad breath. That is not a cause for concern. Yeah, am I right? Please talk to me. You're just watching and listening, looking at my pretty face. You are not saying anything. Please respond. Let me know when you hear something new, something that I've explained better than you used to know. Type it out. Yeah, let me know if you've caught that as your new lesson learned. Those of you in SWA, you know how we do it already. Okay, so please speak to me. Yeah, and then so the first thing, those things I've said are things that we have very little control over, that we need to endure and make sure that we work along each other to make them work. okay, giving support to make it work. And then these things that I'm going to talk about are the day-to-day things that everybody goes through. Because the first things I've spoken about, some things don't go through them. Some people don't go through in-law issues. Some people don't have a wrong mindset. Some people don't have sexual issues or barrenness issue or weight gain issue or illness. Some people don't go through that. Okay, it's not every marriage that you see those things. Yeah. Some people have never experienced financial difficulties since they got married. Yeah. So those things are specific to some marriages. And then we have the general things that everybody is likely or everybody will go through. And those things, you have a bit of control over them and it requires effort. So the other one requires more endurance, okay? But this one is effort. You have to put in a little bit more effort to be able to do it and make it work. You know, gone were the days that women used to stay at home. They stay at home, their husbands goes to work, do all the hard work, and then they make money, bring the money home, and then the woman use the money to cook, take care of the children, and take care of the house. Okay? Nowadays, it's not like that. Women are working, men are working. We are both working. Okay? So how do you really combine work with marriage, with the work that you have to do at home? Okay? And you know, for you to be able to handle the amount of work that you do at home, and some of the work, I'm going to mention them briefly. So we've got paid job, which is work, yeah, that is part of your marriage. And then we've got, where am I? We've got cooking, yeah. We've got washing of utensils, cleaning up, making sure your wardrobe, your kitchen is in place. We've got serving, you know, who serves. These are the roles at home. Okay, so we're talking more about the roles now and who does them, yeah? Serving, cleaning the house, the bathroom, the bedroom, taking the bin out, shopping, managing money, sex and all of that. These are things that everybody goes through them. These are the physical work that you see every day you have to do, okay? And these things are not too different. Apart from sex, if you're a single person, you've been cooking, you clean, you take care of your bathroom, your kitchen, you wash your plates, or you clear up when you and your parents finish eating, you take care of your bedroom, you go to the shopping, you do your laundry, you manage your money. Okay, so these are things that as a single person, you're already doing them, or you may not be doing them because you are lazy or you don't know how to do them. Okay, some of us, we don't cook because we've got housemates, house help at home who cook. So you go and then you leave your plate and then they wash it for you, but you've never done it. Now, when you come and get married, your husband is not your house help. Your wife is not your house help. So there are certain things, these things, you'll be doing them. And I put here that in our marriage, we don't have specific roles. Okay. So I'm going to touch on all these things one after the other, how we do it in our marriage, so that if you want to pick something from it, you can pick and then use them where necessary. Okay. So we both work. I work, my husband work. We work full-time and we also do ministry. I do ministry full-time. At the moment, I say I do it full-time because there's a lot that I'm doing with our singles than what my husband does. My husband, he does more of his WhatsApp, and then he posts out messages on Facebook once a week. Yeah. And yeah, once a week. He's not on YouTube yet, but we have, because it's been almost 5 years, I've been running Swal and Amewowor. So there is a lot of work that is involved in the ministry. Some of the things I do on a daily basis or a weekly or as part of my monthly schedule for Swal. I do Facebook Live. So I do the Facebook Live on Amewowor and then I do one on Swal. So literally at the moment, every week I'm doing Facebook Live. Before I do it, I have to prepare the message. That is time. Okay, that is a lot of effort that I have to put into it. And I have to make sure that what I'm saying, there is sense. Because in as much as I'm using my experience, but it has to make sense. Okay, there should be something that somebody will go away and work with. So I have to put in effort to make sure that I'm giving the right information to people. Yeah. I edit videos, so that is work. Sometimes you come and see me here. Like when I finish this video right now, I'm going to download it. And then because I have to put it on YouTube, so I have to edit some of the things out and then put it on YouTube. And then if I should receive testimony videos from Swallians or anyone that has benefited something from our ministry, I will edit it as well. Yeah, so I do editing and uploading, and it takes time. It takes time. And I plan the structure of the WhatsApp group, and I'm literally involved in everything. At the moment, this year I started doing mentoring. So our members were meant to send us their plans for the year, and I looked at it and tried to find out how they were going to do it and put a structure, ideas, suggestions of what they can do to achieve that. So I've done that, and I'm currently doing a one-on-one with every member of the group. I've so far done only 4 team groups. So basically I've done like maybe 50 or more people, and I'm aiming to be able to finish that before the end of the year. Okay, and then I am also the one who designed the SWAL website. I designed it and I keep updating it. Yeah, and then the orientation test, the online orientation test, I worked on it as well. I had to go on YouTube, sit down, learn how to set up an online test. I had to learn how to do editing through YouTube. So it's a lot of effort that I put in just to make sure that, you know, the ministry is running, and I'm doing it alongside my marriage. Yeah, and sometimes when we are doing orientation, there are technical issues, and I have to sort it out. You know, the last 2 orientation I did, the last but 1 orientation we did, there was an issue whereby when they get to the end and they want to submit, it takes them back to the beginning, so they were not able to submit. And I was at work. Pressure. I came back home, I spent 3 hours just trying to understand what is the problem, where are things going wrong. I took the test myself, the same thing was happening. I couldn't figure out. I was just praying, so Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, show me. And it would amaze you when I discovered the fault. Something small. I don't know how it happened, something small. I saw it, I said, oh my God, is this what I've spent 3 hours? You know, so there's a lot of work that personally I'm putting into the ministry, plus marriage. Yeah, so I do have some members who sometimes help me. Our coordinators are there who are also helping and all of that. But one of the things I've discovered through running the vision is that there is nobody that can run the vision the way you will run it, because naturally people have it at the back of their minds that it is not their vision. Okay, so even though they will help you, they will not give you their 100%. That is the truth. And so if you are running a vision, you are running a business, and maybe you've left it for people to run it for you and you are not paying attention, you may not run as fast as you have to, because they will do it, but it will not be the way if you were the one doing it, you would do. And that is why I put in so much effort, because until we get to that place whereby we have people who actually will own the vision like this, I cannot just relax and watch. Okay, so I'm really putting in so much effort into the vision. There is nothing that goes on in the group that I'm not involved with. So one of the things that I do, and apart from that, I have to also make time to study. You know, I say it all the time. I go on YouTube to listen to messages. I read books. I do other stuff as well. I'm working full time. I go to work. So if I don't study the word, if I don't pray, if I'm not praying, I can't run. See, so I have to also make time. So how do I do it? together with marriage. It is not easy. Yeah. So what we do is we make most of our weekdays when we go to work. After work, that's when we do most of our own work, our ministry work. Okay. At the moment, my husband even feels I'm not doing much. I'm not making very good use of the time as much as I'm supposed to. So he's still pushing me, and hopefully I'll get there. I feel I'm doing a lot, but you know, and it's not easy. So in the evening after work, that is when I say, okay, let me do this, let me do that. Sometimes I'll be chatting. I'll try to check up on members in the evening or first thing in the morning on my way to work, so that when I have a little bit of time in the afternoon, I'll go back and then respond and all of that. There are some people I send them, hello, how are you? It takes 2 days for me to go back to them because it's just not possible. Okay, it's not easy, honestly. It's not easy. So I'm doing all of this, and then we are more focused on things that we can do, to how we do things so that it doesn't take too much time, because as you can see, the time looks very limited. Yeah. And we also try to help each other. Okay, so those are the key things that I would like to leave with anybody that is in ministry and married at the same time, especially the young couples. Okay, look at the way you can do things to save time and also to support each other, to help each other, because you can't do it alone. Okay, last week I mentioned that it doesn't matter the kind of marriage you've seen, whether your mother used to be the cook or your father used to be the cook. In your own home, determine what goes on there. Create your own values. Okay, don't bring your husband, your mother's marriage into your marriage. Don't bring your father's marriage into your marriage. Okay, because your husband is different, your wife is different. Your mother used to behave in a certain way in her own marriage because that's what works for her. That's what worked in that marriage. But in your marriage, it's different. So you create your own values. You create your own environment based on the two of you, what will work for you. Okay, so we are doing what will work for us. And at the moment, our evenings, we try not to spend our evenings on the phone. So I'm at a place whereby most of the time, if it is not urgent, if you call me after 8, I'm not picking the phone. And it's not by disrespect or that I don't want to talk to anybody, but it's just that if I don't do that, I can't do my work. Okay, there's so much that I need to do. And can you imagine if I'm working, I finish at 6? By the time I get home, what time? And then what time do I get to do all my stuff? So if I should still be on the phone at 8 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, then I won't even have time to speak to my husband. Yeah. So I do my best not to be on the phone. I try not to be on the phone in the evenings because that's the time that I do most of my work. And then my husband sometimes get home late. So when he also comes, he will eat, shower, and then he'll be working. But if we are both out, if I'm out, I'm on my way to work and you call me, I'll pick up. But once I get home and it's nighttime, nope. Yeah, I'll make time and call back later when I'm able to. Yeah, so we don't have any specific rules to say you are the one who is cooking, or you are the one who is cleaning, or you are the one who is doing this. What we've done is we have we look at who is best at what. Okay, who is good at what, who can do what better. Okay, so I cook. I do most of the cooking. When I was single, I used to cook my food. My husband knew me for that. Sometimes he'll call me 10 o'clock, I'm cooking in the night. And the reason is because my job at that time was very tedious. So sometimes I finish work like 8. When I come back home, if I don't have food, the next day I don't want to go to work and start buying food outside. So I will stand on my feet and cook. Even if it's up to 12 o'clock that I'll finish, I will cook and then go to bed. So that's what I used to do. So I like to cook. I like cooking. So what we do is I do most of the cooking. we don't take food, we don't buy food outside. Most of the time we don't buy food outside. Hopefully when we are doing the bit about finance, I will talk much more about this. We take our food to work. Even if I go to church, I take my food. I used to do that when I was single. Those people who knew me from my church, you come and see me, I have my plate, I brought my own food, and then I'll eat. Especially if it's a long day at church. So I cook in bulk. I know there are some people who don't like leftover food. They want the food to finish today. You cook everything today. You eat everything today. So that means that every day you are cooking. And if you're a woman like me, who is working full-time and doing ministry full-time, how do you cook every day and still look beautiful like I'm looking? Yeah, it will be tedious. Okay, so because it is work. Food is work. Cooking is work. Sometimes I stand on my feet and it's like, whoa. And at the moment, it's like I don't have a choice. Because when I was single, if at any point I feel like, okay, I'm so tired, tomorrow I'll just buy food outside. Yeah, I can sleep because it's just me. Or I can decide the next day I'm not going to eat. Because there were days that I never ate. I'll go to work, come home in the evening, get breakfast and eat. Because I don't have proper food. I didn't make time to cook, so I won't eat at all. Yeah. But when you are married, you can't do that. Because you don't want to starve your husband. You know, he wants to take food to work. There should be food. There should be food there. Okay. So you've got to put in more effort, no matter your busy schedule. Put in more effort because it is hard work. You stand on your feet maybe 2 hours, 3 hours to cook. That is it's hard work. Okay. And this is a very good place to speak to the singles. If at the moment you don't know how to cook, or if you've been lazying about at home, you're allowing your mother to do all the cooking, you're allowing your sisters, your younger sisters, or your house help to be doing all this food, you are doing a disservice to yourself. You need to know how to cook because you don't know the kind of man you're going to meet. The man may be the type who will not even want to eat a leftover food. I know people who are like that. They don't want to, everything, you have to cook everything today, we eat everything today. Tomorrow you cook something fresh. So you've got to equip yourself in that area, okay? And one of the things I also do to make use of the time is I don't cook on weekends. I'm trying not to cook on weekends. Yeah, I cook on weekdays, even if it's in the evening, I will cook. So that during the week, the weekends, we can have enough time together. So the weekends, that's when, my husband he wants us to jog very early in the morning. This morning, for instance, yesterday, he went for his jogging first. He woke me up and I was like, I need to sleep more. So he went. When he came back, I also stood up, dressed up, went for my jogging, came back. Yeah. So we try to cook in the day, during the week, so that during the weekends, we have more time to rest, more time to spend together. Because if we want to go out and walk, or if we want to go to the restaurant or go somewhere, we can make time and do that. And then also, we use that time to prepare. We use that time to prepare for our broadcasts. Okay. So I do most of the cooking. What my husband does is he does most of the breakfast. So most times I wake up, he's done breakfast. Okay. That is what he can comfortably do. He loves to do it, so he does it. What I would suggest is know who can cook better. If it is the man who wants to make all the main food, and when I say main food, I mean making the stew, making the soup, maybe grilling the fish, grilling the chicken, grilling the turkey, or grilling the lamb, whatever. Yeah. Doing the fried rice, the wache, the banku, those of you in Ghana, the fufu. If it is the man who knows how to do those things better, let him do it. Yeah, allow him to do it. Don't make it a rule that the woman must do it. Who knows how to do it better? Let the person do it. Yeah, so that's the flexibility we have. I do the main food, he does the breakfast. He can cook, he can make some stews, but since we got married, he's yet to do it. So I'm still exercising patience. One day I'm sure he will surprise me, and he'll do his cooking. But at the moment, I'm enjoying the breakfast. Yeah. Um, yeah, and if you don't know how to cook, if you are the wife, you don't know how to cook, and your husband know how to cook, let him teach you how to do it. So when he's cooking, go and stand by him and be learning how to do it. The next time, you let him guide you, so he will tell you. That's how I taught one of my nieces how to cook. I used to let her sit by me when I'm cooking. I'll put the saucepan, and I'll say, what is the next thing to put in? She will tell me the oil. I'll put in the oil. Now, so after the oil, what next? She will say, what's the name? Onions. And I'll say, okay, then I'll put the onions. So basically, that's how I taught her how to cook. So you can do the same with your wife. If you are the man who does not know how to cook, please learn how to cook. It helps. You know what? We'll be talking about love languages at some point. You will know how important it is when you help your wife in the kitchen. It's so important. Unfortunately, most of our African men have this weird mentality. Oh, a man should not be in the kitchen. Immediately you are in the kitchen, it's like your wife has done juju on you. Why? And I've met some great men, when they talk about how they help their wife in the kitchen, they talk about it with pride. I'm telling you. There's a man, I was saying that this man, I need to get him on the show one day. When he talks about how he helps his wife, he was talking about, his wife had just had a baby, and he had to travel, because they live outside London. He has to travel to London and get they are Nigerians, to get some of their local food for the wife, and he was saying it with pride. So some of you don't know how important these things are. Maybe just washing the plate for your wife, it goes a long way, it changes her whole behavior. Okay, so let's think about it. Don't make it a rule. If you are the one who doesn't know how to cook as a lady, as a male, learn how to cook. Who is saying they hate how to cook? Then, I hate cooking. Then please, learn how to cook. Even if it's breakfast, okay? Okay, if you don't want to cook at all, find something in the kitchen that you can do to help your wife. Okay, it could be that when she finished cooking, you clear up. I put a post on my timeline about a man who said for 19 years he's been helping his wife. Anytime his wife finished cooking, he will clean up everything, and he was teaching his son how to do the same as well. He will clean up, he will do everything. So the wife finished and she leaves, he does the rest. Just recently I was telling my husband that one of the things I don't like about cooking is clearing up. After I finish cooking, now having to clear up and all of that is like, oh, I wish somebody would do that for me. So maybe that's what you can do to help your wife if you hate to cook. Okay, but YouTube is there. There are so many things I learned from YouTube. Last week in my husband's message, he said that he likes to cook the exotic food. I like to do the traditional. So some of the exotic things, I had to go on YouTube and learn them. Yeah, I had to learn them from YouTube. And then, so that's the cooking aspect, which can be hard work. It is work. You have to put in effort. Because sometimes you don't want to do it, but you are looking at the fact that, okay, my husband needs to eat. Maybe you are the male, your wife has gone to work. Okay, maybe when my wife comes, she'll be so tired. Let me cook. So you put in effort to do that. And then washing the utensils or clearing up the dining when you finish eating, or when you finish eating, who clears up, who washes the plates. Yeah. Again, we don't have a specific person that does that. We both do. There are times that I want to clear up. My husband will say, it's okay, I'll do it. And then he will do it. There are times that I do it. And there are times that I ask him. Okay, so I'll say to him, Ken, please, can you help me to clean up today? Sometimes he will do it. Sometimes he will not. Last week I said it. That there are times that I'm so tired, I want him to help me wash the plate. He will say, no, not today. That's what he will say. He will, not today. I said, okay. Yeah, I'm not going to fight over that, because he does it. It's not like It's not an everyday I don't want to do it or I can't do it or blah blah blah. He does it. So if today he can't do it, it's fine. Yeah. So we both do. And then serving, we both serve. Sometimes I serve, sometimes he serves, and we eat together. He likes to serve himself if he's going to be eating alone. Most of the time, he wants to serve himself. I want to serve him because it's that traditional thing. I have that traditional thing whereby I love to sit my husband down and serve him. It just makes me happy. But there are times that if he's eating alone, he just wants to do it by himself. And then sometimes when he goes to work and he's going to come back home very late, I will stay awake just so that I can serve his food. You know, he doesn't expect me to do it. There are times that he will say to me, go to bed. But I just know that he's had a very long day. He comes home, you know, whilst he's going to have a shower, I'll get his food together and then he'll eat. That is just my own way of, you know, taking care of my husband. That's all. It's not a must. Yeah. Who said this? Someone said you ask him to clear the table. Yeah, why not? Did we not eat together? We ate together. You see, so this is some of the African mindset. You know, maybe one of these days, my husband will come and speak to you. You know, I was saying how there's this Nigerian man, the pride that he has about helping his wife. You have no idea. What is the big deal? If I say to my husband, please, can you help me clear the table? There's nothing. He does it himself. I don't even have to ask him. Okay? So please, Ben, change your mindset. He says 7, yeah. Okay, so as I said, choose what works for you. As long as you are doing something, you know, it doesn't have to be the woman clearing up all the time. It doesn't have to be the man clearing up all the time. You work. That is what we do to help each other. Okay, there are certain times I'll be cleaning the plate. I'll be washing. My husband just stands there. He doesn't wash, but he just stands there he stands by my side. Watch me wash. When we finish, we leave the kitchen. So these things goes a long way to help, honestly. And when you do these things for your wife, trust me, she would automatically come and hug you and kiss you and throw herself on you. You know, there are some of you, maybe you are married, you are trying to get your wife's attention in bed. You touch her and she pretends she's sleeping. Immediately you touch her bum, she starts snoring. She'll be snoring. She's pretending. She doesn't want you to touch her. Because the whole day, you've watched her do all the work. She's tired. Now she wants to sleep, you want to touch her bum. No. Yeah, so some of you don't know, this is the secret to our young men. These are the secret, the little things that, you know, you may not see it as plain like that, but you need people to be able to share it with you. Okay, you do these things, it goes a long way. There are times my husband will wash the plate, I will go and stand by him and I'll bless him. I'll say, God bless you. You are the best man in the whole world. May you prosper. Sometimes I'll say promotions. I decree promotions for you because of what you've done. And a wife's prayer is very powerful. So our men, Ben, I'm happy you are coming out to say it like a big shock to him. You ask him to clear the table. Lie, oh. It is not lie, it's truth. Okay? Thank you. Sorry about that. This was very funny. Okay, so we both serve each other. Cleaning the house, I do the mopping. Okay, another message. Some women won't respect you when you start doing that. It's because they are ignorant. Who said they won't respect you? I would love to rather realize that you need help than you asking me. No. There's nothing wrong with her asking you. So you too, you have to change your mindset. Both of you need to change your mindset. That is why we are doing all of this. Okay, I'm sharing with you, and I've mentioned how there are men who do this with pride. Okay, they are so happy. They brag about it. They boast about it because they know it is so important for them to do that. So we have this weird feeling about, you know, if I wash my wife's panties, if I clean my wife's shoes, she will not respect me. It is not true. It is an African myth. It is not true. It is not true. So please delete that from your head. Delete that. Yeah, and I thank God you are coming out to say this because it helps me to clarify these things. your wife will really respect you. He will love you. She will love you. She will appreciate you for doing it. It goes a long way to help. Yeah. So please do them. Do them. Cleaning the house. I do the mopping. I mop the house. I clean the bathroom. My husband cleans after himself, so he doesn't clean the house, but he cleans after himself. He makes sure that if there's something messy, he cleans it. Yeah. Beddings and bedroom, I do most of them. Most of the time, I will take out the beddings. I'll change the bed sheet, even though I don't like ironing, but I do it and I iron everything. My husband changes the bed sometimes. It's not every time, but he changes. He helps. Taking out the bin, we both take out the bin. You know, there are times that I'm cooking. If I'm cooking, I'll take it out and wrap it around and leave it, so that if any one of us is going out, we will take it out. So sometimes he comes back from work. If he sees that I'm cooking and the rubbish has been taken out, he will take it and put it in the bin. Yeah, and then there are times that he's also maybe doing breakfast. He's taking the rubbish out of the rubbish container, and then on my way to work, I'll take it. There was a day actually when I left, I took the rubbish. He sent me a text to say thank you. Thank you for taking the bin. I was like, oh, thank you. You know, and I said, okay, you're welcome. You know, it's nice. It just shows that he appreciates. And the same thing, if he does something for me, I say thank you as well. So it's all mindset. When you have the right mindset, you will behave the right way. And both of you will not feel guilty for what you do for each other, because you know it is the right thing to do. Okay? So let's marry properly. If you are single, this is the best program for you, because it means that you can work on your mindset before you get married. If you are in a relationship with a woman, ask the woman. Try and ask him, oh, how would you feel if I wash your plate? How do you feel if I clean your... If the woman starts saying, oh, don't clean my plate, she's a bush woman, she doesn't know anything. Okay? It means that she's so archaic. She's still thinking those old timers, and you have to educate her. Let her come and watch my video. Educate her. We all need a change of mindset. Yeah? And then the shopping. Okay, before the shopping, laundry, in terms of washing clothing. You know, when our clothing is dirty, who washes them? We all wash them. We put them in the washing machine. We dry them. But he does it more. Most of the time, by the time I come, he's done them. So most of the time, he does them. Shopping, we have a grocery list that I manage. I brought up the idea that we should shop once a month to help us, so that it doesn't waste time, because by the time you travel to the shopping center to go and buy this and buy that, the energy you drive and you carry the heavy load, it's just too much energy. So what we do is we have a shopping list every month. We look at how much we want to spend, the things we want to buy. We've listed all of them. We've got our budget for the month. We buy everything that we need, yeah, with the exception of the things that can easily go bad. Yeah, the perishable things, the fresh vegetables, we get those ones as we need them, when we need them. If I'm coming from work, I can get it on my way up, or if he's coming from work, he can get it on his way. But most of the stuff, we get all of them at a go. We get all of them at a go. We put them in the freezer, in the fridge, and when it's finished, it's finished. Yeah, we try to stay within our budget. Okay, so this saves time, it saves energy, it saves money. Okay, and then who manages the money? My husband manages the money because he is better at it. He does it as a profession, so he knows what is, you know, how to manage the money so that it doesn't get overused. Yeah, because if you should leave it to me alone, by the time you come, I've used it. I don't even know on what. Yeah. We put our money together. There's nothing like this is your money, this is her money. We put our money together, and then he manages it. He pays the bills. Yeah. So everything has been set up. The money comes out of his account every month to pay all our bills, and then what is left of is what we have. And then in terms of sex, who initiates sex? Okay, so these are also hard work, yeah, and it takes effort. Sex takes effort to do, especially when you are a lady. With the men, it comes natural, like you You just, sometimes it's just funny, you know. I'm just sitting in my corner somewhere, quiet, and he's just looking at me, and he's ready. He's already ready, and I'm like, what warranted this? Why are you, erected? Why? Sometimes I just tease him. I say, why are you ready? I've not touched you. We've not said anything. So what is going on? Because men are such that just by looking at you, they can just get ready. Okay, but women are not like that. Women, we actually put in more effort, because there are times in the month that women actually they don't feel for sex. Okay, they don't feel for sex. They just have specific times in the month that they will really be feeling for the edge and all of that. So for a woman to be having sex every day, it's effort that they have to put in, and it's hard work. Yeah, that's how I see it. When we were doing our fasting, the 30 days fasting and prayer, I did 21 days before the 30 days, and it wasn't easy. I lost interest. It's like my body didn't feel for sex, and I was very, it's like, especially in the evening when I finish eating, for some strange reason, when I finish eating, that's when I actually feel like I'm fasting. That's when I feel like I'm fasting. And then in the mornings, I'm so strong. Throughout the day, I'm strong until in the evening. Immediately I break the fast, my stomach, I start feeling like, oh, I'm so weak. So it was difficult for me to really, easily be up for sex. And there were times that my husband will touch me, and I'm like, Jesus, Holy Spirit, help me. Honestly, I'm like, Holy Spirit, help me. Holy Spirit, help me. And sometimes I have to gather strength. And there are times I'll say, can we do it in the morning, or not now, please? Because I was physically tired. Yeah, it was just from the fast. So I had to literally push. I had to push to fast. To have sex. So, and I believe this is why the Bible says that when you are going on a fast, you've got to have mutual understanding, because it could lead to you not wanting to have sex. Okay, so as a woman, when you are going on a fast, make sure that you have your husband's permission before you do, especially on a long fast. Yeah, because it's going to make it a bit difficult for you. Yeah, so women put in more effort, especially in the area of sex, because it doesn't come to them naturally like it does for men every day. Okay, so these are some of the work that is involved in marriage. And as you see, all these things are things that if you're a single person, you are already doing it. Okay, somebody's asking the question. That reminds me, during fasting, is it an abomination to have sex? Well, I believe you're talking about a husband and a wife, not a girlfriend and a boyfriend, because a girlfriend and a boyfriend are not meant to be having sex at all anyway. Yeah. So if you're a husband and a wife, it is not a sin to have sex when you are fasting. It's not a sin. No. As long as you both have a mutual understanding. If you are not having sex, is it because you've agreed that you are not going to have sex during that fasting? If you both agree, then it's fine. If one person, you are just doing it out of rebellion, your husband wants to have sex, you don't want to have sex, but you have not agreed, you are denying him of that sex, then I'm going to say that it's a problem, but it is not an abomination. We had sex when we're fasting. We did. There were days that I was physically so drained, I just couldn't. And with that, I had to explain to him. I said to him, physically, it's just not, yeah, and he understood. Okay, so it's not an abomination. Is there any other question? Bear with me, let me just make sure. Okay. If people have questions, please send your questions here. And then, Ben, you said something. He said, I would love to rather realize that you need help than you asking me. Okay. What about if she's not making it plainly for you to know? Because sometimes you may not think that they need help, but they need help. So that's why it is good that they ask. Because once they ask you, then now you are very sure that this person really needs help. Okay, so I think that women should gather the boldness, the courage to ask their husbands for help. Okay, if you want your husband to help you clean the house, speak to him in a nice way. Don't command it. Okay, one of the things men don't like is when you command. When you say, you must do this, it is part of you have to do this, blah, blah, blah. No, then you're going to throw him off. But if you ask him nicely, please, are you able to help me today with the plate, to wash the plate? If he says yes, praise the Lord. If he says no, don't push it. Okay, don't fight over it. Keep asking until one day he says yes. Yeah, so that's how we do it. We try to do everything together. We help each other where necessary. There's nothing like this is your role, this is your responsibility. We take responsibility for our home. It is our home. We take responsibility for our marriage. It is our marriage. We take responsibility for each other. But there is nothing like, if you don't do this, I'm not doing that. No, there are things that even if it is something that I know that he's very good at, but he was not able to do, I will step in if I can do it. It's just like when we're planning our wedding, he was responsible for putting together the Afrobeat songs, and I was putting together the worship songs. It got to a point that he was so busy he couldn't do it. I took over. I had to put them together. Yeah, so see the whole thing as the two of you building a castle together. It is for you. It is for you. It doesn't matter how somebody thinks, what somebody doesn't think. At the end of the day, it is your marriage. You make it work the way you want it. Marriage is what you make it. Okay, it's not about my husband, my father used to do this, my wife, my mother is the one who used to cook. So now that I've married you, you too, you must cook. Meanwhile, you the man, you can even cook better than your wife. And you are waiting for her to come and cook. Why? Create your own palace. Create your own atmosphere. Do what works for the two of you. Okay. He said, I asked because of this gender equality stuff. They will keep commanding. See, this is why I said before you get married, you've got to understand what is marriage. You got to understand gender differences. What is the position of a man? What is the position of a woman? Yeah. Dr. Miles Monroe's book, Understanding the Purpose and Power of a Woman, Understanding the Purpose and Power of a Man, it outlines this thing very clearly. Okay, it tells you that the man has the position power, the woman has the influence power, and the position power is given to him by God. So it does not matter whether you are the man, whether the woman, you are the one who earns billions of pounds and the man is not working. That position is given to the man. You cannot take it from him. Yeah. The woman, you got the influence power. That's why a woman can come and start crying over things. She can easily influence her husband like that. She can tell her husband, I don't like this, we shouldn't do this. And she'll start putting on some weird attitude and the husband will listen. She's got that ability to influence things and make things work. Okay, so if in your home maybe things are going wrong, you've got to ask yourself, Holy Spirit, help me. How can I influence the situation in the house so that the best will come out of it? Because that is the power God has given you. And the thing is, most of us are not mentally, we are not equipping ourselves. So we've got this weird. We only know what we know about marriage is what we've seen around or what we've heard. We've just heard. We've never really sat down to learn for ourselves. Okay, read the Bible. There's nothing like the gender difference, the gender equality. God, the spirit that God has put in man, the spirit in us is called the spirit man. The spirit man is the same spirit in a woman, is the same spirit in a man. So in God's eyes, we are the same, just that we have come in different containers based on our function. So the woman is in the female container, the man is in the male container because of the function that they need to perform. But the spirit that is living in them is the same spirit. That is why a woman can preach and a man can preach, because it's the spirit of God that is in them. Okay, that makes us equal. but our roles, our function is not equal. It's not the same. There are certain things that a man can do, a woman may not be able to do them. Okay, that is why it takes two people to raise a child. It takes a male and a female to raise a child. A female can still raise a child all right, but there are certain things that the child may feel like they lack. They may feel like, oh, they didn't get a father figure, and that kind of thing. So gender equality, fair enough, but when it comes to our functions, we are different. Our functions are different, and that is what we need to understand. Okay, things like men need respect, women need love. A man doesn't need love. They don't need love. When you start respecting the man, to him, that is love. Okay, women don't really need, sometimes women say, oh, you don't respect me. It's not respect you need love. That is what you need. And once you are able to, the man start loving you. And love, I mentioned before that we have to treat the topic love languages, because everybody, what is love to me may not be love to you. Okay, maybe love to you is that your husband has bought you a car. He gives you money every day. That is love to you. Maybe love to me is that my husband touches me. He comes, he gives me a hug. To me, that is love. So even though we use love as the general word, we all receive love differently. And that's why love languages is very important. You need to understand your love language so that you can communicate love to your wife correctly, or your wife needs to understand your love language so that they can communicate it to you. Yeah. So I hope I've been able to explain the gender equality stuff properly. We are all equal. We are equal, but our function is not the same. Our function is not the same. Yeah. So that's where I'm going to love and leave you today. I hope you've learned a lot. Hopefully next week, next 2 weeks, I will come back and we talk about maybe finances or sex. Sex is a very sensitive topic that if you really want to help people with it, you've got to be very real and you've got to use yourself as an example. So it's one of the things that I'm still thinking of how to do it. Yeah, so that because we have to be vulnerable to be able to really share, to be able to help people with it. So by next 2 weeks I know what to do. But definitely we are going to treat finances, because there's financial situations. Many people are having financial difficulties in their marriages. How do you manage your finances so that you will not be stranded or things will not be difficult for you? Okay, I went to do my hair, and I had some married people that were discussing, and they were talking about how food is so expensive. Food is expensive, and they spend like £300 on food. And I was telling them how much we spend on food, and they were like, nah, lie, it's not true. It is true. I can show you the spreadsheet for our groceries. You see how much we spend on food, you'll be amazed. Yeah. So it's all about you being able to budget, and don't eat yourself away. Okay. So we will talk about finances. Hopefully, if my husband is available at that time, he may join me, because that is his profession. He'll be able to give you more insight on what to do, even pension, how to start working on your pension and all of that, applying for pensions for your children, because you don't have to be 50 years to start saving towards your pension. That's the word. Okay. Even at the age of, just by the time they are born, you can start paying or saving money towards their pension, and he will talk more about it. Okay. So I'm going to love and leave you now. If you've got any questions, please. We are almost close to the end of this episode. Hopefully, maybe we just probably have 2 more to go, unless something else comes up. But if you've got a question, I will have a whole section whereby it will just be questions and answers. So send me your questions in advance so that I can put the answers together properly for you. Okay. But if you want to ask whilst I'm live, you can do it as well, and then I'll answer them. If you are in Swal and you took part in the fasting and prayer that we did in June, if you've got any testimonies, please send them to me, because I'll be sharing them every 2 weeks. I did one last week, so the next one is going to be next week, Sunday. I'll be sharing some of the testimonies that people have received from the prayer and fasting. If you want to join us as Single with a Life, you can go on our website, www.singlewithalife.org. On the homepage, click on Join Us on WhatsApp. Now, when you click on that link, don't send us a message immediately, okay? There is a whole page of information about what we do on the WhatsApp group. Please read through, make sure you are happy about everything we've put there before you contact us to join. Because sometimes people come, you tell them about orientation and they are shocked. And I'm thinking, did you not see it there? It is there, clear. You've got to do 8 days orientation. If you don't pass our online test, you can be Jesus Christ reincarnated. I will not let you join. Okay, you've got to pass the test before you can join us, because too many people want to play. We are not in for play. If you want to develop yourself, if you want a better future for yourself, then join us. But if you just want to come and play games, we do not have games to play with you. So please make sure you are happy with what we do before you contact us. Okay, so God bless you. Share the broadcast with your friends before you leave, and enjoy the rest of the weekend, and have a happy new week. You lift me up, you lift me up in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name. You lift me up, you lift me up. Strength like no one, strength like no other reaches. Okay, goodbye, take care.